Good evening, everyone. I'm your show host, Julie Hedges, and welcome. Welcome to the Tarot Journey on Star Nations Radio Network. I know this is a new night just for this month. Thank you all for joining me coming into the chat room now. We have Rob here. Good evening. Glad to see you. Thanks for being here on the first day of spring. And I know that everyone's getting their coffee or their tea or something good to drink. Hi, Neshi. I see you right there. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for joining me here this evening on the first day of spring equinox in the Northern Hemisphere. And I tell you, it doesn't quite feel like spring because we have about a half an inch of snow here on the first day of spring. Hi, Polly Joe. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining me for the Tarot Journey. Tonight we're going to talk about a really deep subject. Hi, Cynthia. Welcome, everyone. I just feel the love. I feel the love. Thank you. Thank you for being here. We have some wacky, wild weather. At least that's what it feels like for me, this wacky, wild weather. Being the first day of spring, we have snow on the ground. We're snow flurries all afternoon. And I know some of my friends in the Northeast have been experiencing snow, and some of my other friends up north, lots of snow out there. And it seems that the world might not know that it's spring. Hi, Tracy. Welcome. Thank you for being here. And Jocelyn, thank you all for joining in. This is going to be a really, really good time. I'm feeling this right in my heart center tonight. And as I was leaving my day job, my Lois Lane job, to come here to do my soul work, I got to thinking about my favorite plant. Jocelyn's saying wind and hail and rain. Whew. My favorite plant is the forsythia. And I didn't have an opportunity to find a picture of that. I have posted that on my personal Facebook timeline, the forsythia. And it just reminds me of a sun explosion coming out of the earth, because it's these little yellow blooms, but there are millions of them that just cover these forsythia bushes, and they last for so little time. But that is like the harbinger of spring right here in southern Indiana, and my forsythia has already started. And so as I was walking out amid all of this snow, we have about, maybe an eighth of an inch on the grassy areas. The streets are clear and the sidewalks are clear because they're warmer. Still, we have this snow on the first day of spring, but it reminded me of this, that even though the world out there might not know that it's spring, meaning the world out there where I am, it's snowing and it's supposed to be spring. Even though the world out there might not know it's spring, the earth knows it's spring, because the earth is already bringing up that sunshine. That's what I think of the forsythia bush. You know, those tiny yellow blooms that just explode out of the earth. That's what I think. It just comes up and out and flows all over. That even though the world doesn't know that it's springtime, the earth knows. And that is going to be kind of a key theme woven through this evening as we talk about life between the extremes. That's the name of our show this evening, Life Between the Extremes. And I want to ask if you could like the show and share it, please. I would so appreciate that. It helps get the message out there for anyone who's interested in learning more about the inside and the outside, and that there are people like us out there. Thank you, Polly Jo. Loved and shared. Thank you so very much. Welcome, everyone. That this theme, life between the extremes, is really a deep subject. It's about the dark night of the soul, really and truly. And how can we love ourselves? Thank you, Neshi. How can we love ourselves through the dark night of the soul? And I'm going to talk about it in terms of the charnel ground. And what does that mean? What is the charnel ground? There's Chris on this evening. Thank you, Chris. And Jennifer Whitmer. Oh, Jennifer. See, that's a perfect example of, we might not know that there are others out there interested. I got to meet Jennifer Whitmer and her wonderful husband over the weekend. I did a weekend event where I was with my business partner, Marilla Walther, and I was selling my book and my pendulums, and she was selling her jewelry. We are R&J Chakra Jewelry. And so I got to meet these two lovely people, and they didn't know about all of the wonderful groups that we have here locally. And so I was able to talk to them and invite them. So thank you all for liking the show and sharing. Hi, Jennifer and Chris, my beautiful friend Chris. All righty. So we're talking about, we're going to get into this deep subject this evening, talking about the charnel ground. And I'm going to tell you what that means, the dark night of the soul. And a few announcements. Hi, Brody. He's a sweetheart. A few announcements. If you are in East Michigan, or you would like to travel to East Michigan on Friday, March 30th at 7 p.m., I will be at Raven Cafe with Rob Kendall. Rob's there in the chat room. Just raise your hand there, Rob. He is a wonderful musician, guitarist, songwriter, composer, arranger, and asked me to team up with him, and we have been singing together. So we have another show coming up for you right there. He's waving everyone. It's acoustic. So it's a night of music and poetry and really soulful music that speaks to the heart. So come on out to the Raven Cafe in Port Huron, Michigan. We're going to get started about 7:30 and give you about 2.5 hours of good music. So please come on by and see us. We'd love to shake your hand and visit with you and sing along with us. It will be fun. It'll surely be fun. Spring equinox starts today, March the 20th, and I know we've been talking about that. What does it really mean? Astrologically, this is when the year starts. This is the astrological new year. It's called the ingress of the sun moving into the sign of Aries. And it happened around, I think it was, somebody can help me out here, I think it was about noon. Eastern time, so 11 o'clock Central time where I am, when the official movement of the sun into the sign of Aries. So as the sun is moving around the zodiac, moving around the calendar year, going into these areas of the sky, and we call this one Aries. Oh, 12:15 Eastern. Thank you, Polly. Appreciate that. So about noontime is the official beginning of spring, going into the sign of Aries. And in astrology, because I am an evolutionary astrologer, wherever you have that point of Aries, it's called the Aries point. It's 0 degrees of Aries. That's when the sun has just moved in and said hello. Instead of knocking at the door, now he's just come right in the front door, but he's not made himself at home yet. It's just brand new. He's like, here I am, everybody. I've got my bags. I'm ready for vacay. that place in your astrological chart, 0 degrees of Aries, is the place of brand new beginnings for you. And it is different for everyone. Your Aries point might be in the mansion of, let's say, relationships, one-on-one relationships. That would be the 7th house. So when that sun hits the time of Aries, that's a beginning, a new dispensation of relationships for you, if that's where it is in your chart. Maybe it's in the area, the mansion of career and your status in the community, outshining your light into the world in a very public way. That's the 10th house. Then that Aries energy, that spring says, hey baby, I'm here. I hope you all are ready. It's time to party down. So it's different for everyone. And if you would like to know where that is for you, hi Linda. Yes, we'll get to some readings a little bit later on in the show. I'm so glad that you have stopped by here and lent your energy. Wherever that is in your astrological chart is where you have that brand new beginning. And so we can capitalize on that energy, right? So we've just had snow today here where I am. And it's not enough to sled, but let's say we're going to go sledding. When you get to the top of the hill, you have a natural momentum to go down. But I tell you what, if you get a couple of your buddies to give you an extra push, how much faster are you going to fly down that hill? So it's the same thing with this Aries ingress, this Aries energy of it's brand new. It's going to happen for all of us anyway. But if we tap into it on a soul level, on a consciousness level, then that's like that extra nudge, that's that extra push for us. So if you want to know where that is in your chart, you can get with me for a Soul Path Empowerment Astrology reading. They are a lot of fun, and I'm told that they are life-changing for people, that they learn things about themselves that they didn't know. And they also have confirmation about some things that they did know about themselves. There are also free charts available online. One of those is, I'm going to get this here. It's astro.com. I like this site. Let's see if it's going to come up for me. Astro.com. Astro.com. I'm not seeing my comment here. Okay, here it is. Astro.com. Just put in your birth date, time, and location, and it will pop up your chart. Now, the charts look like a circle with a bunch of funny pictures on it and lines and numbers. And so it's a whole different language, and I understand that. A lot of these sites also have some interpretation along with it. So yes, you can get free charts on the web. Sorry about that. Okay. Hi, Allie. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. So I want to open up with Sacred Space. We're going to get into deep subject tonight, and I want to treat it very tenderly and gently, because I know so many of us are walking the charnel grounds right now. And I want to say that if you think you are alone, you are not alone. And the eyes of many people that you meet, many people that you work with, you run into the grocery store, you go to church or synagogue or sangha with, or in your bridge club or your crochet club or your astrology group, they are going through the charnel grounds too. It's a place none of us want to go. We don't want to be there. We'd all love happy, happy, joy, joy all of the time. But the great Creator knows that we don't learn that much when we're going through the easy times. I put on my own Facebook timeline here over the weekend, I think it was. And so if you're friends with me, maybe it has come up on your news feed. But I wrote that we don't remember the times that we were comfortable. We remember the times that we were changed. And that's one of those paradoxes about the charnel ground. That if we can be diligent and steadfast and just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, like Dory says, then when we make it through, we can be changed because we don't remember the times that we are comfortable. We remember the times that we are changed. So if you will join with me in your heart and in your mind as we open sacred space, I'm going to open with a prayer. Holy angels and sacred ones, glistening stars to light our way, please come in and surround us. Be with us, we pray. Sacred elements within us, bones, blood, spirit, and skin. We ask your loving presence, your beauty to attend. Mother Earth and sacred ones, the holiest ones, we pray. Please gently surround us for our time together today. Amen. Amun. So it is. Oh, that's good. It's always important for me to set sacred space at the start of the Tarot Journey show because when we come here together, we are doing a sacred work. When we are together, this is sacred work. We are talking about deep things, meaningful things, things that are going to change us if we let them, and not just merely be, oh, isn't this nice? We're getting together on a Tuesday evening. But we can be changed. We can be transformed. We can have the alchemy of spirit when we get together. And so it's important for us to be surrounded in that. But I want to even do an extra layer. Spirit has really put this on me to do an extra layer for this work here that we're going to do this evening. Oh, Tracy, I love that. For this work that we are doing, Spirit has impressed upon my heart an extra prayer. And we're going to talk about taking refuge. And when we are going through those places, the charnel ground, and Neshi, thank you for typing that out for me, the charnel grounds. When we're going through that, we need our team with us. We need our spirit team. At the very least, we need some spiritual armor. And so I'm going to pray this prayer before we get into the meat of our discussion. I'm going to pray this prayer that when it is prayed, and if my friend Rob could post that in the comments for us so we can see what those words are. When this prayer is prayed, there are 4 stanzas, and it establishes, if we think about it in our minds and our heart, it establishes 4 pillars of light to surround us. On the right, this is my right, in front of us, to the left, and behind us. These 4 pillars of light. And so being surrounded by that divine light, so that wherever we go, even if it is in the charnel grounds, that wherever we go, we are surrounded by that. And so as we are going to be talking about the charnel grounds, I might be bringing up some things for people that are very sensitive and very tender. And I want to acknowledge that. I want to treat it very, very tenderly. And so I'm going to pray this prayer It's the Ad Gure Name. And it is for protection, protecting the mind, protecting the heart, protecting the body, protecting your spiritual countenance. With that. So thank you, Rob, for posting that. That's one of the lines to start. Agre name, Jugar gre name, Sat gre name, Siri Guru Dev Name, Agre Name, Jugar Gre Name, Sat Gre Name, Siri Guru Dev Name, Agre Name, Jugar Gre Name, Sat Gre Name, Siri Guru Dev Name, Agre Name, Jugar Gre Name, Sat Gre Name, Siri Guru Dev Name. You feel that around you. So that for walking through, if we're walking through these charnel grounds, you're surrounded. Thank you, Neshi. Thank you. Using my voice, that's the way that I pray. It's the way that I am aligned. Thank you all. It's the way that I'm supposed to be using my gifts, talents, and abilities here. And it's the way that I can get through the charnel grounds, to be real honest with you. So what do I mean by the charnel grounds? I'll post that again. Thank you, Neshi, again for typing that in. What are the charnel grounds? Well, the charnel grounds, what it means. In the Buddhist tradition, especially those in Tibet who are living in the high Himalayan mountains, it's really cold and the earth is hard, more than rock hard. And it's very commonplace for people who pass away that they are taken to the higher spots on the mountain. And it's an open grave. It's an open grave. Sometimes they build a little platform and put the body on there. And so the body is left to the animals and to the elements. And the physical accoutrements of the body are picked away. They're blown away. They're eaten away by the elements. That's the charnel ground. It's the graveyard, but even more delicately, it's where one, if he or she visits the charnel ground, sees how the physicalness is just pulled away by the rain and the wind and the buzzards and the other animals. That's the charnel ground. And I mean, it's not a place of unicorns and rainbows and puppy breath. It's the place of decay and picking away at once was until it's all chewed up or ground down or completely melted into the mountainside and becomes something new. But it's a process. It takes a while. So that is the charnel ground. That's what we're talking about tonight. We are talking about, I called the show Life Between the Extremes. And what do I mean by that? Life between the extremes. I know when I come to a fork in the road, we'll say, okay, Julie, you can go to the charnel grounds or you can avoid it at all costs. I'm being very transparent here. I use myself as an example all the time because I do dumb stuff. Let me take a drink real quick here. I'm keeping it real on the tarot journey. The charnel ground. It's smelly. There's dead things. And there are dead things in various degrees of decay. And I might see things and hear things and definitely smell things I don't want to smell. So, Julie, you have a choice to go through the charnel grounds, or you have a chance to go 5 times as long around and avoid the charnel grounds. Julie, which one are you going to do? Are you gonna hold your nose? Are you going to pull in your spirit team? Are you gonna just face the wind and do it? Or are you gonna avoid it? And so I want to talk about this, and I'm going to bring up this tarot card, the 8 of Swords. I wrote about this in my March article in Star Nations magazine. So if you have a digital copy of that or a hard copy of that, you're going to see this article about the charnel grounds. And I really lay it out, and I'm transparent, and I go there. And so we're going to go there this evening. Here we are. This is the 8 of Swords. Look at this lady. She doesn't look very happy. You know, her hands are bound. She's got a blindfold on, and she's in this little prison of swords, right? She appears to be trapped. So when you are trapped by your circumstances, you're trapped by your thoughts. Swords energy in the tarot. Everything about the tarot is the book of life. So everything about the tarot relates to your modern everyday life, even though it was invented by our ancient mystics and masters from long, long ago. It's still very relevant today. Swords are about mental energy. So your thoughts, the way you communicate, the stories you tell. Oh, that's fun. Oh, that's one that kind of pierces me right now. The swords. The pen is mightier than the sword. Well, in this case, the pen is the sword. The story that you tell yourself, the story that you tell the world, the way you think. I think I can. I think I can. People who think that they have are going to have a good day or a bad day. Guess what? That's what it is. You are what you believe. We're talking about the dark night of the soul. Thank you, Rob, for posting that. The dark night of the soul. This is the charnel ground. This is what we're talking about. When you are in that, you are surrounded. Here she is, surrounded by those swords. Trapped by thoughts, trapped by words that have been told to her from maybe her childhood, or from a teacher, or a parent, or a lover, or her own self that she read off of a billboard. And here's one maybe for the ladies, in a fashion magazine. Wow. In a fashion magazine. Thank you, Nishi. Julie's Star Nation March article, The Refuge. It's deep, real about the charnel ground. Thank you. It's about the dark night of the soul. So when you're here, what do you do? I know myself, if I'm caught in that place, I just want out. I want out. And it's almost a panicked feeling of, I want out of here. I'm trapped by the stories of my past. I'm trapped by the circumstances, or what people are telling me, or what my third grade teacher said, or what Coach so-and-so said, or what I heard on the TV, or what I read in a fashion magazine. I want out. I'm crying for an out. Where is my out? So for you and for me, the question is, what do you do when you're crying for an out? What is your escape plan? What is your escape plan? What is your way through? Do you hide? Or do you just want to go out? Do you hide and pull back and stay put? Or instead of going through that dark night of the soul? And here's a wonderful rendition of what it means. It's a thoughtful song. It's The Dark Night of the Soul by Lorena McKennett, and Rob has posted that YouTube link here in the comments for you to go back and listen to that after the show. It is the poem, The Dark Night of the Soul, by St. John of the Cross, put to music, and it is haunting, but absolutely beautiful. So if you are there, you're not alone. But when we find ourselves there and we're in the grip of, I want out of here, what do? Do you hide or do you escape? What is your refuge? And I'm going to share a story with you. This was many years ago. I had to have major surgery, and I was out of work, and I had lost my job. I had lost my best friend because I had to fire this person from my life. Okay. And I had to have major surgery, just boom, boom, boom. And so here I am kind of reeling from that, and it's after surgery, and I'm still in recovery, and I haven't found a new job yet. And so I have this kind of fury. It's like, okay, I've made it through some of the bad times. Okay, now I just need to find a job. I need to find a job. Job. And so that was playing over in my head. So I was kind of caught up in this mental prison, like this lady here of the Eight of Swords. I was caught in that mental prison. And I was driving on the way to get my hair cut. And Spirit loves to talk to me, especially two places. When I'm driving, when I'm in the bathtub. This time I was driving. So Spirit tells me that I'm trying to take refuge in a job instead of taking refuge in myself, or taking refuge in the place of me that is, was, and always will be the soul, the Atman, as it's known in Sanskrit, the soul, the Atman. I'm trying to take refuge in a job because that's the tape that was playing. Got to find a job. Job. Once I find a job, I'll be okay. Well, the truth is, who I am is okay. The job is secondary. And so I was trying to find refuge in a job. And so where did that idea come from? Well, I was reading this wonderful book by a Buddhist meditation teacher, Tara Brach. And I got to pull it up here and read it. True Refuge, Finding Peace and Freedom in Your Own Awakened Heart. And let me see if I can put that in the comments. I'm not so great about that. Let's see if I can get that into the comments for us. Oh, thanks, Chris. I remember this time period. You were so strong and brave. Oh, I didn't feel like it, but that's good to know. And there were a lot of times that I wanted to hide and escape. My go-to for the charnel ground, instead of just powering through it, I like to hide. That's kind of my thing. I just want to hide away. So here it is. True Refuge, Finding Peace and Freedom in Your Own Awakened Heart. I had read that book by Tara Brach. And that was the book that I chose because of its cover. They say never choose a book by its cover. I actually did. I was kind of going along in the library and boom, the cover of this book. Now, mind you, it was just the spine. I didn't see any of the rest of it because all the books are lined up this way, right? But it just jumped out. Spirit said that book. And so when I pulled it off the shelf, it had these wonderful lotus flowers floating in a pond. And I'm like, ooh, I like that. So I opened it up and I started reading the introduction. Tara Brach had shared a personal story of hers that during the writing of that book, True Refuge, Finding Peace and Freedom in Your Own Awakened Heart, she was experiencing a debilitating disease. And at one point she described a scene in which she was at her vacation cottage and she was watching her husband and her son pull out of the driveway. They were going to go off on some adventure, but she was too weak or too much in pain and she couldn't go with them. And she's a Buddhist meditation teacher, right? She's a spiritual person. But in that moment, she was completely defeated by her body, by the way she felt about her body. And no amount of spirituality was gonna really get her through that charnel ground, because we are feeling beings. And that's part of our lives here too. So I pulled that book off the shelf and I thought, well, if anybody knows what she's talking about, this gal does. Because I was definitely there in that place of having to have, surgery, being really debilitated physically for a while, and then having to have that surgery, major surgery. So after I was cleared to start driving again, here I'm driving and going to get my hair cut, and Spirit tells me, you're trying to find refuge in a job instead of true refuge. True refuge. And the word for refuge in Sanskrit is sharanam. And hopefully that's going to pop up here for me. Tracy says she hides as well. Yeah, that's my main go-to, is I don't see it. It's not happening. I'm going to put my head in the sand, or I'm going to hide under the covers. Sharanam. Sharanam, taking refuge. Taking refuge. When we're in that spot, I'm going to pull this one down, and I want to talk a little bit about taking refuge in the Eightfold Path. So let me see if I can, I don't know if I can give this a feature. Okay. I think I'm going to go back to this way. I hope you all can see it. It's the Eightfold Path of Buddhism. Right view, right speech, right mindfulness, right effort, right livelihood. Mine might be a little bit different. Right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. And it corresponds with the chakra system. You say, well, Julie, the major chakra system has 7 chakras, and this is the Eightfold Path. So for the Eightfold Path, they give the heart an extra layer, we'll say. Not an extra chakra, but an extra layer. There's the heart chakra, and then the antechamber heart is what it's called. So it's where we get whoops, I don't have it, Neshi. Thanks for the tip, though. For some reason, I don't have it. Oh, no, wait a minute. Let's see if I try that. Oh, thank you. See, I need all the help I can get. Here we go. Right view, right intention, right speech, right livelihood, right effort, right concentration, right mindfulness. I'm going to move my comment out of the way so you can see that. The Noble Eightfold Path. And isn't that neat that that's the 8 of Swords? The 8 of Swords and the Eightfold Path. So it's possible that she can get herself out of the prison. It's possible that she could get herself out of that prison. Let's see if I can bring this up. Here we go. It's possible she can bring herself out of that prison of swords by maybe trying the Noble Eightfold Path. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about a little bit deeper. And let's talk about this guy. Woo! This is the 10 of Swords. This guy, that's pretty much the dark night of the soul. Pretty much the dark night of the soul. It's all over for him. In his mind, see, here we have the 10 of Swords. Here we have 10 swords and that dark, ominous clouds. And he's just down for the count, really. This is when we as humans look defeated, feel defeated, we talk defeated. We replay the stories of being defeated. And what happens when we're there? What happens when we're there? Sometimes we'll look to unhealthy ways to take refuge, sharanam. But sometimes we can call in allies. If we're reminded of allies, like Ganesha here. Ganesha, the elephant-headed god, the remover of obstacles. If we call in our team, if we call in some special help to get us through, that we might even be able to see. We might be able to see those first tendrils of light. Maybe they're faint or like a little whisper of smoke. Because even if we look at this card, let's just look at it. Yeah, those clouds are black and awful. And here he is down for the count. And all of those swords sticking out of him, betrayal, gossip, stories, nightmares, all of those things sticking into him and out from him. But look what's beyond him. Look what's beyond him. See that little swath of light. That little swath of light. There can be light in the darkness. In fact, when you're in the dark night of the soul, when you're in the charnel ground, that's it. That's the darkest that it could maybe go. Okay? So you have an opportunity for light to grow. And thank you, Rob, for posting this in the chat room for us. I Can See Clearly Now by Johnny Nash. When I was recovering from that surgery, it was a major surgery I had in 2013. This song became my theme song for my recovery. I can see clearly now. And even today, when I listen to that song, I get to this one line and it just makes me tear up and makes my heart feel like it's going to burst, because that was the line that I hung on to make it all the way through back to normal. And that was, here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's going to be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. If any of you are friends with me on Facebook, maybe you saw a post that I did late Sunday afternoon. So Sunday, I was out at New Harmony, Indiana, for an event with my business partner, Marilla Walther, who we are together, the R&J Chakra Jewelry. So we had a weekend event, and I was driving back for our Sunday portion of the event. And as I'm coming into town, so this is about 45 minutes away from me, as I'm coming into town, let me go back to double screen here so I keep talking. You can maybe see me. As I'm coming into town, here in this tree, right by the road, is the beautiful, very large female hawk. I know it was female because she was very, very big. So greeting me about 9:30 in the morning as I'm driving into town. And I'm there all day and put in an all-day event. And as I'm coming home, I don't put on my regular soundtrack that I've been listening to. You know, I kind of have my go-to songs. I decided to pull this song. I Can See Clearly Now. I decided to pull it out of my old playlist because I'm just feeling like I need to hear it. I need to feel it. I need to be in that song. And so the song finishes, and I'm pulling right up to the road where I'm going to turn right and head back to my town, coming to that same Y in the road where I first saw Ms. Hawk as she greeted me when I was coming into town. And I looked to my left, and there she is, the same tree, the same branch, as she was at 9:30 in the morning, and this is 5:30 at night. Greeting me as I'm coming into town, and greeting me as I'm going on my way. And so, of course, I pull off in this little salon, and I take some pictures, but I'm crying because I know what this means, that this is something special, that as I'm drawn to my old playlist of hope This is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's got to be a bright, sunshiny day. Here she is saying, yeah, go with that light. Go with that light. So it was a beautiful moment, a beautiful picture. This is she is one of my favorite poets, Rupi Kaur. Her words are so visceral and powerful, and I think, wow, if I can write like that. The world gives you so much pain, and here you are making gold out of it. There's nothing purer than that. Here you are spinning that straw into gold. Here you are walking through your charnel ground into the light. Here you are believing that here is the rainbow you've been praying for. It can be a bright, sunshiny day. The world gives you so much pain. And here you are making gold out of it. Gold out of it. Ooh. Take a deep breath there. If we believe, if we do our work, if we surround ourselves with friends who are encouraging, if we engage our spirit team, if we nurture ourselves and do the things for ourselves that we enjoy, eat the ice cream. We too can see the rainbows. And I love this pic. Of course, everybody knows that I'm a Bulldog fan. I just had to get this picture. The future's so bright, I gotta wear shades. We can. If we can see that swath of light, even through the charnel ground, we can make gold out of our pain. Thank you, Neshi. It's alchemy. That's what it means by transforming lead into gold. Lead is the heaviness, into gold, the light. Literally in astrology, lead corresponds to the planet of Saturn, of restriction and fear and sternness and heaviness, because it represents the mountains, immovable objects, into gold. Gold is the sun. Gold is the sun. So from that heavy earth that's stern and immovable into the sun that glows and shines and moves. That's what that alchemy is all about. That's what it is all about. So I'm ready to open it up for readings. And I want to share this. This is from the Talmud. This is one of those quotes that when I first read it, when I first saw it, it just threw me back in my seat, in my chair. We do not see things as they are. We see things as we are. So our mindset is premier importance. And I understand that the charnel ground it's hard to remember the things that we enjoy, the things that make us happy, the things that are light. It's hard to see that little swath of light. And to forgive ourselves. To forgive ourselves. I might go over just a little bit this evening. So I appreciate you sticking with me. I want to make sure that I get to as many folks as possible on our readings this evening. So I am going to open it up. And let's see here. If you're going through the charnel grounds, what would be beneficial for you? And we already have a line, and I love that. Thank you for blessing me with the opportunity to speak to your soul, for us to do sacred work together. Polly Joe. And please don't let me, I'm just going to be very honest with you. It's hard to keep track of the comments. So please, if I have jumped over you, add your name again, okay? Please, please, please. Looks like I'm starting with Polly Joe LeBay. So I'd love a reading. Have been through quite a period of charnel grounds lately. Okay. What do we need for Polly Joe? I'm using the Universal Weight deck this evening. It is a traditional deck. And here we are. Okay, we have the Ace of Wands. I love this. I love this for you. The Ace of Wands for Polly Joe. This is a breath of fresh air. A breath of fresh air. So yes, it's the acknowledgement of Spirit Team is acknowledging. I've got 3 guides to my left-hand side. We're saying, yep, yep, yep. She's been running a marathon. Better yet, a marathon obstacle course, kind of like the Lego Firewalk. If you've ever seen that or done that, you know, your child leaves little jacks or Lego pieces or whatever on the floor, and here you are barefoot in the middle of the night, and the dog has to go out to potty, and you step on those things, and man, it's worse than ouchie. It's the Lego Firewalk. Try to do that with sensitive feet. And so they are acknowledging that you've been running a marathon over Legos. That's what I'm seeing here. But it's a breath of fresh air. So the winds of change are here. And the song I'm hearing is, happy days are here again. The skies above are clear again. Na 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 na. Happy days are here again. So it's going to take about 3 or 4 weeks for the old to really brush through. So it's like the Legos are like leaves, refuse left over from the wintertime to be blown out of the way. And you don't have to do anything about it. You don't have to do anything about it. It's going to get blown out. Just remember to breathe. One of the best practices that I know of is what I have learned from Denise Iwana. It's the Coptic breath of take a deep breath all the way to the tips of your toes and beyond. And exhale, and to the tips of your fingers and beyond, and exhale, and then to the top of your head, beyond, and exhale. And for me, that makes me think of a 5-pointed star. You know, your 2 feet, your 2 hands, the top of your head, that's a 5-pointed star. So in my mind, I call that the 5-star breath, as you are reaching all those points and beyond. So breathe, breathe, breathe. And I know you have a good breathing practice. Thank you. Cynthia Jones, you are ready for a reading too. What do you need for the charnel grounds? Thank you everybody for sticking with me. This is a powerful show tonight. Let's see here. Cynthia, what do you need? What do you need? Okay. All right. This is the Five of Cups. This is the Five of Cups. And so this guy looks a little bit disappointed, doesn't he? And notice how he's looking at the spilled cups that are turned over. Yet behind him that he's not seeing are two cups that are still upright. So all is not lost. All is not lost. There are three, I'm going to call them streams of healing, or three, how do I want to put this? Three situations that are undergoing healing right now. And that could be your own charnel ground that you are facing. And guides are congratulating you on facing them. And they're pretty heavy. And it might feel like you're being knocked over by the wind or run over by the waves, but you are handling it so gracefully. But behind you, there are blessings. Behind you, there are blessings that are buoying you up so you are not knocked down by the wind. You are not blown over. You are not spilled over by the waves. But rest. 5 is the number of change. 5 is the number of climax and change. It's right when you get to the top of the roller coaster. It's tick, 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 tick. You're right there. And so you're getting ready for that exhilarating ride into the next part of your life, the exhilarating ride of the roller coaster. You know, everybody knows that tick, 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 tick as you get up to the top. And for some people, it's like, oh, what kind of adventure is coming? Or others, it's terror. For me, you would never get me on a roller coaster willingly. But you are at that precipice where it's going to give way, and the adventure is going to be laid out so beautifully. And you'll be able to actually pick up those blessings and see them for what they are. So thank you, Cynthia. Here we have Linda. Linda would like a reading. Financially stuck. Okay. Let's see here. Financially stuck. Linda. Okay. Let me pull this back. The Magician. I love that. The Magician, to me, can we see that a little bit better? I hope there's not a glare on it. The Magician. Look at him with his hand up. He's like Saturday Night Fever. And he's got all of the pentacle, the cup, the sword, the wand right there, all on the table. He's got all of his ingredients. He's got all of his tools there. The Magician card always reminds me of MacGyver. Remember that show from the 80s? This guy, he was like a spy or something. I don't remember exactly what he was, but you know, he could get himself out of a hostage situation with a piece of gum and an envelope or a paperclip or something, right? You know, this guy had the magic. He could just do it. So you've got the magic. You have the tools all in front of you. So what I'm hearing, what I'm being told is put on your creative eyes like a child. And what do I mean by that? So my shaker here looks like an egg. Oh, it's colored. Maybe it's an Easter egg. So think like a child would think, where a spoon is not a spoon, but it's a magic wand. And the sled is not a sled, but it's a magic train ride. Okay? So see see the resources you have in front of you with magic eyes, with the eyes of a child who has no limit, no bounds. See it through magic eyes. Thank you. Rob would like a reading here. Again, thank you all for staying with me. I know I am going over. Oh, this is good. This is good for you, Rob. All right, here we go. The Lovers. The Lovers card. This is the 6 in the major arcana. The Lovers card. Just as a point of education, the Lovers in the tarot, it's the major arcana card. The Lovers in the tarot are not like a romantic kissy kissy my sweet baboo card. The Lovers card is about choice. It is about integration and choice. As these two archetypes are coming together, the divine male and the divine female, under the auspices of, see, the angel of light there, the angel Gabriel, the angel of divine love, the messenger of love, saying these two aspects, these two pieces of soul are being woven together. The Lovers also correlate to the sign of Gemini, the mirror of love, as reflecting back to someone who he actually is. That's why in astrology, the job of a Gemini person, if there are Geminis out there, the job of a Gemini is to be that mirror of love. And so that Gemini is reflecting back to whomever he meets exactly what that person is or is not. And so my experience with Geminis is that they wonder why everybody runs screaming from the room. I'm just being me. And people get all upset about something. Well, that job of the mirror of love is to mirror, mirror on the wall, reflect back to that person. And it is according to what he or she sees that the reaction comes from. So the Lovers is about really embodying the understanding of being the mirror of love. There you go. Good. Tracy, if by chance, bless me with your reading. Yeah, let's do it. We're going to go over a little bit because this is just getting real good. Getting real good. Okay. You've got change on the horizon too. Here we go. There we go. Not so much glare. Okay, the 5 of Wands. Here we've got kind of showing your stuff. It's like a mock competition going on in this card here. But 5, we know that's change and climax. So it's kind of like doing calisthenics and like all the I'm going to call them meatheads in the gym, right? They're all next to each other and they're lifting weights. Oh, you know, look at my muscles, look at my muscles, look at my muscles. So kind of a little bit of posturing, but really it's coming from a place of inner strength and inner fire. Wands are all about spiritual mastery. So you're working your spiritual muscles, but it's not in vain. Okay, I'm showing my age here, but what Spirit is giving me is the movie Karate Kid from the 80s with Ralph Macchio, right? So he wants Mr. Miyagi to teach him how to do karate because he's just a poor kid from a poor part of town and he wants to be a karate star. So he asks Mr. Miyagi to teach him karate. So he goes over to his house like every day for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and he has to paint the fence and he has to sand the floor and he has to wax on the car and wax off the car and do all of these things. And so after one long day of doing his chores, the Karate Kid says to Mr. Miyagi, you know, I've been coming here for months And all I'm doing is painting your fence and changing light bulbs, and I'm sanding your floor, and I'm just doing stuff around the house. When am I going to learn karate? And there's that famous scene where it just turns on, that Mr. Miyagi does all these moves, and all of a sudden it's the muscle memory that he's waxing on and waxing off and up and down and this way, that all of the things that he was doing as chores were preparing his body to take the actions that were needed for success. So that's what's been happening for you. These little irritations or interruptions or these repetitive things that you have had to do, indicated here by the Five of Wands card. I think I put it back on the bottom. Sorry about that. The Five of Wands, you can pull it up online, is developing that muscle memory for when the time comes, you will have it. It's mastery of those skills. Okay. Chris. She would like a reading. Oh, thank you all for sticking with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Here you go. This is Temperance. The Temperance card. The Temperance card correlates, trying to get it so there's not a glare on there. Okay, that's a little bit better. Here we go. The Temperance card correlates to the planet of Jupiter, the planet of expansion, the planet of the higher mind. So what I'm hearing from Spirit right now is when you are in the shower, well, okay, let me back up. Before you get into the shower, and it's very specifically about taking showers. So if you're a bath person, maybe for at least once a week, do a shower instead of a bath. But before you get into the shower, ask your question. You have lots of questions. Ask your question, and then have the intention that your answers are going to come while you're in the shower, because the water is flowing. The water is flowing. The water is from spirit into the earth plane, just as you can see right here on this card. It's the angel. It's the angel of love pouring the waters of spirit, the blessings of spirit down on the earth. And you can see one foot is on the earth and one foot is in the water. So the messages of spirit onto the earth plane. Your answers are going to come in the shower. I know that sounds strange, but there you go. That's what we've got. Allie, looking for spirit guides and do not know how to find them. I'm in a complex charnel ground. Oh, I understand. I understand. I'm seeing 3 white beings surrounding you right now. Well, let me put it this way. They are wearing white robes. Not necessarily that they are white, but they are surrounding you. They are closer than a breath. They are surrounding you. Here is for you, Allie. It's the Four of Swords. You are being asked to take refuge. Take refuge. Sharanam. Take refuge. Take a nap. Take refuge in the things that you love. And that's kind of hard when you're in the charnel ground. But what I'm going to ask you to do is remember, piece together from your body, mind, emotions, and spirit, piece together from those things something that you enjoy. So 4 different things: something that you physically enjoy, something that you emotionally enjoy, something that you mentally enjoy, something that you spiritually enjoy, that bring you upliftment. Maybe it's doing crossword puzzles. Maybe it's sitting in the sun. Maybe it is taking a walk in the woods. Maybe it is singing hymns in church. I don't know what those are, but 4 things on those levels: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Take refuge in those. So before you go to sleep tonight, intend that in your dream time, there we go, intend that in your dream time, those will be revealed to you. Okay. Your spirit guides are there. 3 of them are around you already. Jocelyn would like a reading, please. Oh boy, thank you guys for sticking with me. I know this is really going over. I feel like we are on a roll doing this spiritual work. I feel like we are on a roll. Ah, Jocelyn, the world. I love this. This is the 21st card, or card numeral 21. It's actually the 22nd card of the tarot, as they go from 0 to 21. So it's the culmination. It's the end and the beginning. See, here you have, it's the laurel leaf, but it really is the Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail, that the end is the beginning. And what I'm hearing right now is that song from Brad Paisley. You can look it up on YouTube. It's Baby, You Are the World. Listen to that. Listen to that. Baby, You Are the World. And in fact, I wrote about this card in our free issue of Star Nations magazine that was published back in the summertime, I think. The free issue about Mother Earth, I wrote an article about the world, and I did talk about the song Baby You Are the World. But the premise is, for the singer of the song, who is Brad Paisley, you might feel that you're just another bank account, or when you go to the ice cream shop, you're just another dip, or to the waitress, you're just a tip, you're just a whatever, you know, to the guy at the laundromat, you're just another shirt to be cleaned. But to me, baby, you are the world. So the acknowledgement of, you might feel that you are lost in a crowd, that you might be one of millions, but you are 1 in a million to me. Remember that. Remember that. Where am I? Where am I? Patti LaBelle. Thanks. So perfect. I'm glad. Lola, may I have a reading? My boyfriend went to jail, and I want to know what's going to happen. Well, for you, the question is that I will be asking you is, what do you feel in your spirit about you? This is not about him, but about you. How do you feel about you? Here we have the 8 of Cups. This is the card about making peace with the past. So whatever that means is, what is the past? Is it the past of how the relationship was and how it is changing and evolving because of his new circumstances, or how you are versus how you were? This is a springtime. The sun just entered into Aries. This is a springtime, so it's a brand new beginning. You can write your new story, but it's all about you. How do you feel about you? What do you think about you? Patti LaBelle is a Gemini. Okay, well then you're the mirror of love. And I know you, Rob. You're Gemini friend too, so you've got that. You are welcome, Cynthia. Tracy, you are welcome. Spirits are saying you should go to camp. All right. All right. Okay. Oh, Allie, I'm happy that you tuned in too. Oh, thank you, Neshi. The special issue, Baby You Are the World, Grandmother Earth. There you can get it. It is the free issue. So every year Star Nations magazine does a free issue so that you can try it out and you can get to know some of these writers and contributing authors and show hosts in a different light. And it's a thank you. It's a Wopila, a giveaway. Ooh, let me do one more card. Let me do one more card for all of us, because I think all of us are going through our various charnel grounds. This is the time of change. This is the era of change. What do we need to know? Ooh, I like this. Here we go. Here we go. The Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles for all of us. Lola, I did just do your card, so when you get this recording, you can back up just a little bit. Yeah, I just did yours for you. So for all of us who are on tonight and who are listening to the archives, there's the Four of Pentacles that we need to be aware of right now. This is the energy of the spring equinox. A new year, new astrological year is forming, and we are being reminded of our resources, of our physical resources, our mental resources, our emotional resources, and our spiritual resources. And I'm also being told right now about, there's a passage in the Bible, and you can look it up, but it's to put on the armor of God. Now, I know to some of us that the word God is a tender term, but I mean it in the creator sense. Creator, the divine source, the universe, Buddha, whatever word you would like to use for the word God, but put on the armor of. Put on the armor of. So here we have put on the boots of divine source. Put on the breastplate. See where he's holding that one right there at his heart center? Put on the breastplate of divine source. And therefore put on the crown of divine source, so that you are walking in, you are emanating from, and you are thinking with divine source. That is what we all need right now. It's the Four of Pentacles. Remember our resources. Pentacles are resources. Mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. Putting on the armor of divine source. Right there. Whew. I've gone way over. And thank you so much for tuning in. This was a very special show, a very deep show. And you make it all worthwhile. You make it all worthwhile for us to come together every single month. And before I let you go, I want to take us out with a blessing. May the peace that surpasses all human understanding be with each and every one of you. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. And good night.